Hello, welcome back. On to another important concept and formula. So we talked about the importance of managers knowing their break-even point, and we said how to calculate that in units and in sales dollars. Well, a lot of the times management doesn't, their goal is not to just break even. Their goal is to be profitable, right? And a lot of times they may have an actual goal set by their corporate chain or the parent company that says, hey, we want your division to earn $100,000 in net income this year. So they have a goal, and it helps them to plan to reach that goal if they know how many units it's going to take to achieve that goal. So there's a formula that we can use to help them. That formula is called target profit. And just as our break-even formula expressed it in two ways, so can this formula. We're going to express a company's target profit objective in either units or in sales dollars. So the first one will tell them how many units they need to sell to cover all their costs and achieve their profit. The second, sales dollars, tells them how much they need to generate in gross sales revenue to cover all their costs and reach their target profit. Right? So it just depends on how they want to see it, or if you're doing a homework problem, what they ask for. The nice thing is, if you've already memorized your break-even point formulas, and I know you guys have, it's very similar. The new formula just builds off of this one. Okay, so your target profit in units. Your formula is fixed costs plus target net income or target profit, tomato over your CMU. So again, I said it was very similar to the last one because look, all we're doing is changing this to now have the target net income, because basically you're treating that target net income as if it was a fixed cost, something you have to cover. Okay. So there's that. And now in sales dollars, you can probably guess fixed cost plus target net income. It's the same numerator, just as it was in the break-even formula, but now your denominator is going to be CMR. Okay, so there's your formulas. Go ahead and find your So Soon guitar example that we've been working on, because one of the requirements on there, number 7, says if the company targets net income at $540,000 next year and expects no changes in costs, how many units will they need to sell to earn this income? How many sales dollars will they need to generate to earn this net income? So they're asking you, and sometimes it doesn't use that word, calculate target profit, but you can see they have a goal, and they're asking you how many units do they have to sell to reach that goal, or how many sales dollars do they have to generate to reach that goal. Okay, so let's go ahead and try that one now. Hopefully you have it handy. So let's go ahead and first do it in units. Let us remember what our fixed costs were for So Soon guitar, $450,000. Our target net income given in the problem was $540,000. Go back to your CMU. We solved for it. CMU 360. Also, I have it here in that per unit column of the CM income statement. It's $360. Go ahead and solve. You should get 2,750 units. So what this figure means is the company must sell 2,750 units in order to cover all their costs, variable and fixed, and achieve the target net income of $540,000. All right, and then you can look to see if that's reasonable. Last period, they sold 2,000, so we could look at last couple years and kind of plot what their sales have been, right? It might be pretty optimistic to be able to increase by 750 units, right? But if they have a big marketing campaign that they're planning, something that they really do believe is going to help them get to that, maybe it is possible. But at least now, by us calculating this, management knows what they need to sell. And then they can, we talked about like directing their resources, coordinating their resources was one of their jobs, right? It's part of their responsibilities. So now they can plan and coordinate resources, marketing campaign, increase employees, increase in hours to get to that goal. But the thing you have to be careful of is, are those additional resources going to change the costs? Because here it said no change in costs. Because if they are going to hire more employees, that's going to increase your variable costs. If they are going to have a marketing campaign, that's going to increase your fixed cost. And then we're going to have to completely update this formula. So as it stands now, they have no change in costs, but at least managers know what they're aiming for. There's two ways that we could get the sales dollars. We could go ahead and work through the formula. Let's do that first because we have that written here. 450, it's going to be the same as it was for the last one. CMR, go back, we solved the CMR to be 72%. Okay, so do that. Let's see what we get. Okay. 1375. Okay, so the company must generate total sales of 1.375. So that means their sales would have to increase from 1 million to 1,375,000. So again, they can see whether or not that's reasonable, but at least they're armed with this information to help them plan on how to reach that. Here's the other way I was going to say you could reach it. Since we already have units, what you could do, take the number of units, multiply it by your sales price per unit. If you remember, for this company, it was $500 each. And again, this is assuming there's no change in that sales price. We were told there were no changes expected. Go ahead and multiply that. You should get the same thing. So that's another way to get there, right? Because maybe they don't give you the CMR, or you can't figure it out for whatever reason, or maybe you just want to do it both ways so you can have a check to make sure that you did it right. That's another alternative way to solve for your sales dollars once you have units and if you have the sales price per unit. Okay, so hopefully we're feeling more comfortable with that. Let me quickly show you a proof. And the reason I want to do that is because in your participation assignment, you're going to have to do the formulas, and I think you also have to do a CM income statement proof. So let me do a proof. So let's say I'm going to omit the header. Oh, no, I can't omit the header. Who am I kidding? Who am I kidding? It goes against the fiber of my being. CM income statement. This would be like proposed or projected, right? Because it hasn't happened. So maybe we're looking at next year for the year ended December 31, 2021. Okay, so let's say the sales, we calculated it, 1,375. What does that mean variable costs are going to be? Okay, so the way to find variable costs, since they're tied to sales, right? If sales go up, they go up. It's always in the same proportion. So figure out your proportion of variable costs. Okay, so sales are 100%. Minus your CM percent, which was 72%. So that means the difference, was that 28%? The difference is your variable costs. Okay. 28%. So multiply 1,375,000 times 0.28, and we get variable costs of 385. Subtract that to get your CM of 990. I'm always so shaky in my math skills, so I have to use calculator and sometimes calculate things multiple times. 450 is our fixed cost. Subtract. And does that number look familiar? Okay, so we did a little proof. We want to make sure that if we make sales of 1,375,000 given our cost structure, and they told us it's not changing, so we assume the same percentage, we assume the same fixed costs, we will be able to reach that 540,000 that management desired. So that's your proof. And again, I wanted to show you because I believe you'll have to do that. All of this in your participation assignment for this module.